BTB listeners, thank you so much for checking out today's episode. Listen, if this episode inspires you, do me a favor, take 5 seconds to shoot me a like and subscribe to the podcast. There are several more exciting guests that are in the pipeline, and I just can't thank you enough for your continued support, and let's keep paying the mission forward.
Don't be afraid of the dark. Be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you, baby.
Welcome to the BTB Project, designed to empower listeners to identify their why and to live their best lives no matter the circumstances. My name is Coleman Gerhardt, a former athlete and motivational coach. I've had the opportunity to inspire thousands through my story and help accomplish what they are built to be. You'll be encouraged by each and every episode, and let's get into it.
Yeah, when I blow up, I'ma soar high like Peter Pan. In real life, be living out my dreams. If I'm waking up, it's in a foreign land.
In today's BTB Short, I want to dive into a topic in an important conversation about how to apply a very simple practice in your life to elevate, to motivate, and to transform any situation that you've had in the past and have it propel you into what you're doing in the present and the future of your life. I'm a big sports guy. Pretty obvious with what you've heard on the podcast thus far, being a former athlete, being a coach. One of the most compelling things that I've seen are these awards that are given out at the end of the year for respective sport. And they call it MVP, most valuable player. And that's the one that, whether it's a team or a league, it's somebody that is just going above and beyond, doing amazing things in their respective sport, and they get acknowledged as being the best. But what does being an MVP have to do with you and me on a daily basis? Something that we can tap into to overcome difficult days, to continue to strive after what we're looking to achieve. And I'm a big believer, I teach it all the time as a coach, to develop habits and rituals that will impact your life on a daily basis. Just looking at a 24-hour period and how can we maximize that 24 hours to get 1% better? So I came across a book and a podcast that focused on this very thing. And it took the 3 letters MVP and it broke it down into 3 different areas: meditation, vision, and prayer. I'm here today to help understand, motivate, and provide actionable tips for you to enhance your MVP in your life. So, how do we tap into these practices? I don't know about you, but when I hear the word meditation, I curl up into a ball a little bit. Hasn't been my cup of tea, at least the way that I've perceived it. I'm not one to be able to sit still, Indian style, keep my eyes closed, no noise, and just sit and be. That's a little bit challenging for me. But what I've learned over the years is the power of meditation and a meditative state is not just one way of doing it. And meditation and its benefits on the medical, the emotional is profound. Really, what meditation is, to break it down very simply, it's turning off the noise of the world and just having a fixed thought of your breathing, of your body, and just being present. I have found that actually my meditative state is in the morning when I go on a jog. Now, sometimes I'll throw in my AirPods and I'll listen to a podcast or an audiobook while I'm running. But something about running has been able to get me to a mental place to where I'm able to have a lot of clarity in that 3.1 or beyond miles that I try to get in each day. And that just happens to be my meditative technique. And I want you to think about whether it's exercise, whether it's sitting still, having calmness. What are the things you are doing on a daily basis to shut down the noise of the world and have that time in a meditative state? Whether you're a working parent, whether you're a student, there's so many opportunities to get so distracted with what's happening on a daily basis that we never have that time for alignment. Now, I'm talking about what I'm doing, jogging, but you don't even have to spend that much time in that meditative state. It could be as simple as a minute of breath work, taking 8 to 10 in through the nose, out through the mouth, big breaths. That could be a meditative state. We all have iPhones or Android devices to be able to set reminders to have that time frame to tap into your meditation. One of the big challenges I have with this is when I'm actually running and I feel that sense of clarity, but all of a sudden I start thinking 30 minutes ahead of the work email I have to send or any obligations I have with my wife and kids, making sure that they're taken care of in the morning. And my mind starts wandering ahead. I'm no longer present. And that's one of the biggest challenges that I believe meditation has on the hardworking person in today's world. How can I possibly have the time to just be present and not think about anything else? The truth is, with meditation, it's a practice, it's something that you have to discipline yourself in. It's no different than a muscle or creating a habit. You got to train it, you got to make it something that becomes the new normal. I'm telling you right now, developing that meditative habit, whether it's for a minute or an hour or an entire day, will emphatically change your perspective on your life. We always feel like we have to add more things, but what if we just start being present and being still in the moment? That has been a profound impact on anything that I'm doing on a day in and day out basis. Let's tap into the second letter of MVP, V, vision. How often are you thinking about what you can become? I use the term vision board often on podcast episodes because a vision board, thinking and seeing yourself doing something before it actually happens, is by far one of the greatest motivators to take a step and continued steps in the direction of that goal. It is so important to have a clear vision. It's essential for your personal growth and success. But how can you have a clear vision on something if you're constantly surrounded by noise? So notice how MVP, we're working in steps here. In that meditative state creates clarity and focus to allow you to have clarity and focus in your vision. This is defining what are your values? What are your passions? What are your long term goals? I have a goal right now to tap into more weight loss. And it's crazy to say that because I lost 100 pounds before I went to college. I've lost weight over the last 3, 4 years, tapping into jogging and developing that routine. But I feel like I'm missing a lot of pieces with my overall health. I feel like I can dig a little bit deeper and refine how I feel and where things stand with me physically. So as I'm starting to create the vision of what it looks like to have that weight loss and overall wellness and developing my body into the strongest version of myself, I'm starting to vision board things. I'm starting to create a step by step process of what it looks like for that to happen. What are my workouts going to look like? What is my nutrition going to look like? How am I going to tweak my schedule to be able to fit this into a busy life that I'm living? I'm starting to visualize it. And when I'm in that meditative state, I actually can blend in the visualization by thinking through in my mind all of these steps and actually watch it played out before it actually happens. We are unbelievable creatures when it comes to our mind and our ability to manifest something that we want to happen through actions between our ears, play the narrative before it happens, scientifically proven that it generates more of an opportunity for it to happen than to not think about it at all or to think about it negatively. When we have those vision boards, we have the power to visualize what's possible. And those positive affirmations, those positive images that we create allows the chapters in the books that we're writing to be written in a way that's congruent to what we want. It's okay to think about that. It's okay to have those moments of alignment where you see yourself doing it. And it's a powerful practice. So, what do you do once you visualize it or create that vision board? It's no different than how you're practicing meditation. With a vision, you got to be able to maintain its alignment. Staying motivated and focused on your goals is not something that you just roll out of bed and are able to do. It's constantly reminding yourself through that visualization, working the muscle. Are you looking at your vision board every day? Are you journaling? Are you writing down the goals for that particular day? You have this vision of an outcome. For me, it's weight loss. To be specific, it's 35 pounds of weight loss. So to get down to 195 pounds, which is what my weight was when I was playing college tennis. And journaling that and aligning my day in and day out to the outcome goal and just chipping away at it little by little. Sometimes these big goals can be overwhelming if we think about the outcome all the time, but the process, having that vision board, seeing yourself do it, fall in love with the process and watch what that will do to your MVP life. Last and certainly not least is this letter P, and that's the practice of prayer. Now, whatever religious base or what your faith is, prayer is something that has profound ability, not leaning on your own understanding, leaning on something greater than you. Being able to tap into gratitude and surrendering some of these thoughts that we have that can detour us from what we're built to be. It's just an alignment piece. And having those characteristics to tap into your faith by communicating out loud where you're at. Now, sometimes this is tough for me because once you're tapping into the meditative state and then the vision, and now you're on to prayer, it's like, how much time do you really have to tap into each of these? This MVP process in its entirety could take minutes or it could take hours, but it's what is best for you. There's no right way of doing this, and there's no right way to tap into your prayer life. Having the ability to speak out where you stand, and then most importantly, After you speak it, are you willing to reflect and listen to what you're leaning into with your faith? And that's the connecting with something greater. The role of prayer is fostering a sense of connection. I gave my life to Christ when I was 14 years old. I was at a young life camp, and that is where I truly surrendered. And I was actually in a moment where I was tapping into meditation, into vision. And because of some of the things that happened in my past, I would sit there and I would be so broken that it was through prayer that allowed me to understand who I was, that I'm forgiven, and that there are opportunities for me ahead that aren't my own understanding, but are based off of something greater than myself. And tapping into that prayer life is probably of the three letters the most challenging, because I just had this conversation with my daughter taking her to school. Why does God allow bad things to happen to people? Why won't he allow those things not to happen? And the truth of the matter is, I don't have a good answer for that. I do know we are loved. We are perfectly woven into who we are to be this divine piece of a greater purpose. I believe that. But when things are tough on that day in and day out, how do you respond? How do you handle? And how do you find the comfort and guidance and strength through prayer during those challenging times? As I mentioned before, we're creatures of habit. And I believe as you continue to tap into the meditative state, visualizing it, and your prayer, you're working a muscle that's going to have an outcome of something extraordinary. So think about that. What would it mean to you to live an MVP life? An MVP life is something that you're doing each and every day. Doesn't take long, but it has the power to allow you to do things that you never could imagine. This practice will elevate your life. Remember, embracing meditation, crafting your vision, and practicing prayer, that's what's going to unlock your full potential and lead you to a life beyond your understanding. It's about living as the most valuable person in your life, you. And most importantly, as you do that, you go help others along the way. Listen, if this BTB short about becoming the MVP of your life impacted you, do me a favor, like and subscribe to the BTB project. Better yet, share this episode with a family member, friend, or colleague, and talk to them about how you've been able to work on these three letters. Tell them how you've become the MVP in your life. Reach out an extension of your hand and help them become the MVP of theirs. As always, I'm proud of each and every one of you. And until next time, take care.